All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave, back again, talking real music in real time for real people just like you, just like me. All right, before we get going here, check this out. Love and Chains, new album. If you like sort of the glam rock scene of the late 80s, Everyday Heroes, really strong album. Decent lyrics, not a ridiculously written album, something with lyrics that you can kind of listen to and not feel like you're going back to Motley Crue. Speaking of Motley Crue, yeah, yesterday, wow, big day on Facebook. You're over on Facebook yesterday. Wow, you got an eyeful. You got a treat. Tommy Lee decided to go into the bathroom and take a full frontal. And the big news is that the rock community, right? All of these great rock websites that everybody goes to for updated rock information, and they're talking about some movie from 30 years ago rather than classic rock. And there's great classic rock being created now as we speak by somebody out there, because I subscribe to a lot of other websites that actually talk about new music from either classic rock artists or artists that sound like they're classic rock today. There's a new album by this band Hydra that's coming out today. Really good if you like Toto. I know Toto, Motley Crue, not much in common there, right? But I'm just saying, the point being that there is music out there to be celebrated, but instead we're gonna, celebrate Tommy Lee's Thing again. So I use Thing in a lot of different. This works, folks. It just does. And then we have to hear about how, Tommy's Thing is. It's so ridiculous after this much time. We went through this in the 90s with the Pam Anderson thing with Tommy Lee, and it wasn't supposed to ever come out, and came out. Then there's a movie about that, or there's a documentary, the Pam and Tommy story, over on Netflix or wherever. I no idea, but there were rock websites that were doing weekly updates, like a soap opera. They were telling you what happened in the show. And talk about, doing cross promotion. Meanwhile, again, there are people coming out with albums. Walter Trout is about to drop an album, I think. Great guitar player. Yeah, who cares, Just it's like John Mayall, Blues Breakers. Who cares? Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares about a guy who can really play music, right? Instead, we want to cater to the guys that are probably using a drum track, right? Because Tommy Lee, for all of his other great attributes, right? Apparently he can't get to the drum kit fast enough. I mean, that happened at least once. And people are out there rightfully documenting this stuff because it's kind of like a scam. The whole thing is a scam. Kiss, go see Kiss. It's a scam. I know it's a show, right? Oh, and you get Tommy Lee walking around encouraging women to do this, right? Because we're still in 1988, that Me Too thing, which again, politically speaking, is just, it doesn't appeal to me politically, but I kind of understand, if it was honest and real, that maybe you don't do this kind of stuff like you did before, because maybe we should learn a lesson and think that we should treat everybody with dignity and respect. But if the women and Tommy Lee aren't going to treat themselves with dignity and respect, then I guess the entire concept is out the window. Motley Crue isn't all that political, and they don't talk too much about that stuff, so I can't throw them, on the heap of hypocrisy here, because they haven't really said that much about it. In fact, they're obviously going to defend their crazy, wild, out of control lifestyles, and that goes back to their documentary, The Dirt, which is mostly unwatchable in places. It's hard to watch because, yeah, there's a lot of freaky, weird stuff that went on. And for most people who were just growing up and listening to the music, it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to really get immersed in this culture, this backstage culture. Yeah, I know. Everybody has a different level of involvement. Mine was, I heard a few songs on the radio. Some of them are okay. That's the way I look at Motley Crue. I heard a few songs on the radio. Some of them are okay. Um, if I were to compare, say, Motley Crue to Guns N' Roses is like Mozart compared to Motley Crue. But hey, again, Home Sweet Home is a good song. Sure, it's a good song, but it's okay. They've got like a half a dozen songs that are good, and the rest of their catalog is like, I don't know. It's just not that great. It's not that appealing. So, what do you do to keep this going, right? What do you do to keep the scam going? Well, you continue to do stuff like Tommy Lee did yesterday, big publicity stunt, basically. Again, any kind of publicity is going to get you attention. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's writing about it. It's not like Tommy Lee hasn't exposed before, right? Exposed literally. This is normal behavior for him. Somebody said, oh, he probably went on an all-night bender. He was in a bathroom when he did this. Just it's like, was it Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, right? They did this thing from the bathroom a couple of times, and all the Fleetwood Mac fans were like, ew, because Fleetwood Mac fans, they have some kind of level of, decorum, and, they feel as though that this is not dignified, and so he should really try to set a better example. That's Mike Campbell of all people, right? Compared to Tommy Lee, Mike Campbell is like Franklin Graham. Okay, it's there's not even a comparison there, but we just keep, I don't know, we as a culture we keep spiraling out of control, and it's a nice distraction, by the way, because again, the rock media didn't react to the raid on the former president's house because they're glad, number one, they're glad that this is happening. They don't find the Fourth Amendment or the 10th Amendment or any amendment interesting because they can't really reconcile the Constitution to any of the things they believe in. So what they do is they pretend the Constitution is a living, breathing document that they can just mess around with. So they're not really interested in any of the real news that could eventually come to their doorstep. Everybody thinks that, it's just for those people over there. Yeah, it could actually show up at your doorstep. It could, because at some point, you're not going to cooperate with something that they want you to do. So what do? Well, you promote mindless entertainment and you talk about everything else. And you promote all of the politics that you really enjoy. And in this way, the Tommy Lee thing fits right in to their mindset, because this essentially, this full frontal stuff, this, what's next is the question. Now, 3 hours on Facebook before it got taken down. Does anybody think that's a problem? No, I haven't seen anybody write about, wow, it was up on Facebook for 3 hours. Look, kids really aren't on Facebook that much, but I'm sure some are, just to communicate with their parents, to use Messenger or whatever. Kids are definitely on different platforms, whether it's TikTok, or they've got apps for everything that I don't even understand. And so this is all for those women at the concerts that are, obeying Tommy when he says to, lift up your shirts and so forth. And they go ahead and they accommodate Tommy. And so Tommy's just getting back into the way things used to be back in the 80s and 90s and during the heyday of all of his controversy. I don't think he's ever going to let go of this stuff. And quite honestly, this is what keeps a band like Motley Crue going. All of the publicity. Now, do you think somebody in the band is going to give him a hard time about, what he did? Probably not. Do you think the management, do you think anybody is going to? No, they're going to be like, Tommy, good work, buddy. We're in the headlines all over the place. We're going to sell more tickets to the stadium tour. Seriously. Because they're again, you might not want to think this way, that people are, especially women, right, would just say, I want a ticket now. I didn't want a ticket before, but I want a ticket now. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. But this like if you didn't already know about Tommy, now and so there are going to be women, hopefully women, and who knows, maybe some men too, right? In today's world, who want to get tickets to go see this just because of Tommy's picture. I mean, it's hard for me to even talk about this stuff. I mean, I'd rather talk about great music. And here are some great music, people. Love and Chains, right there. You want some glam rock without the nonsense, everyday heroes. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. As far as the whole Motley Crue thing goes, it's a show. And if you want to go see the train wreck, go see the train wreck. I mean, it might be entertaining. If you're a people watcher, if you like to watch people, you want to see people walking into a concert and, have your head spin around, a couple of times, go to one of these concerts where old people are trying to act like they're not old. It's really entertaining. I mean, I saw a lot when I went to the Journey concert, and I'm thinking to myself, man, stop doing that. You're not that person anymore. You're not that age. It's time. It's time, to put away those childish things. It's time. It's not time for Tommy Lee. He isn't going to do it. So, again, a good distraction for the media, because there are important issues regarding our Banana Republic here that they don't want to interject. Rockers react to the raid. No, nobody reacted to the raid. Everybody was really happy about it, according to the rock media. And the silence, by the way, shows that they're complicit in all of this stuff. And the Tommy Lee thing, just a great distraction, man. The reactions to Tommy Lee's photo. Okay, all right, some of it's entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it's pretty entertaining and funny and witty. Some of the sarcasm and the remarks and the innuendos. Stop with the big this and the big that and the large this. It's like, what grade are we in? At what point do we get out of high school? You know what I mean? All right. I'm done, people. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, that bell for notifications on new videos. Patreon, patrons for $1 a month if you want to discuss this issue or any other issue. Hopefully something important like new music. New band, Hydra, drops an album today. I'm going to be talking about that eventually. Really good stuff. If you like Toto and some of that West Coast sound, that is definitely not Motley Crue. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.